The Sikorsky UH-60 Black Hawk is a four-bladed, twin-engine, medium-lift utility helicopter manufactured by Sikorsky Aircraft. Sikorsky submitted the S-70 design for the United States Army's Utility Tactical Transport Aircraft System competition in 1972. The Army designated the prototype as the YUH-60A and selected the Black Hawk as the winner of the program in 1976, after a fly-off competition with the Boeing Vertol YUH-61. The UH-60A entered service with the U.S. Army in 1979, to replace the Bell UH-1 Iroquois as the Army's tactical transport helicopter. This was followed by the fielding of electronic warfare and special operations variants of the Black Hawk. Improved UH-60L and UH-60M utility variants have also been developed. Modified versions have also been developed for the U.S. Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. In addition to U.S. Army use, the UH-60 family has been exported to several nations. Black Hawks have served in combat during conflicts in Grenada, Panama, Iraq, Somalia, the Balkans, Afghanistan, and other areas in the Middle East. Development. Initial requirement. In the late 1960s, the United States Army began forming requirements for a helicopter to replace the UH-1 Iroquois, and designated the program as the Utility Tactical Transport Aircraft System. The Army also initiated the development of a new, common turbine engine for its helicopters that would become the General Electric T-700. Based on experience in Vietnam, the Army required significant performance, survivability and reliability improvements from both UTTAS and the new power plant. The Army released its UTTAS request for proposals in January 1972. The RFP also included air transport requirements. Transport aboard the C-130 limited the UTTAS cabin height and length. The UTTAS requirements for improved reliability, survivability and lower life cycle costs resulted in features such as dual engines with improved torque and high-altitude performance, and a modular design, run-dry gearboxes, ballistically tolerant, redundant subsystems, crashworthy crew and troop seats, dual-stage oleo main landing gear, ballistically tolerant, crashworthy main structure, quieter, more robust main and tail rotor systems, and a ballistically tolerant, crashworthy fuel system. 4 prototypes were constructed, with the first YUH-60A flying on the 17th of October 1974. Prior to delivery of the prototypes to the U.S. Army, a preliminary evaluation was conducted in November 1975 to ensure the aircraft could be operated safely during all testing. 3 of the prototypes were delivered to the Army in March 1976 for evaluation against the rival Boeing Vertol design, the YUH-61A, and 1 was kept by Sikorsky for internal research. The Army selected the UH-60 for production in December 1976. Deliveries of the UH-60A to the Army began in October 1978 and the helicopter entered service in June 1979. Upgrades and variations. After entering service, the helicopter was modified for new missions and roles, including mine-laying and medical evacuation. An A-60 variant was developed to conduct electronic warfare and special operations. Aviation developed the MH-60 variant to support its missions, due to weight increases from the addition of mission equipment and other changes. The Army ordered the improved UH-60L in 1987. The new model incorporated all of the modifications made to the UH-60A fleet's standard design features. The UH-60L also featured more power and lifting capability with upgraded T700GE701C engines and a stronger gearbox, both developed for the SH-60BC Hawk. Its external lift capacity increased by 1,000 pounds up to 9,000 pounds. The UH-60L also incorporated the automatic flight control system from the SH-60 for better flight control due to handling issues with the more powerful engines. Production of the L model began in 1989. Development of the next improved variant, the UH-60M, was approved in 2001, to extend the service life of the UH-60 design into the 2020s. The UH-60M incorporates upgraded T700GE701D engines, improved rotor blades, and state-of-the-art electronic instrumentation, flight controls and aircraft navigation control. After the U.S. approved low-rate initial production of the new variant, manufacturing began in 2006, with the first of 22 new UH-60 megaseconds delivered in July 2006. After an initial operational evaluation, the Army approved full-rate production and a 5-year contract for 1,227 helicopters in December 2007. By March 2009, 100 UH-60M helicopters had been delivered to the Army. In November 2014, U.S. military ordered 102 aircraft of various H-60 types worth $1.3 billion. Following an operation in May 2011, it emerged that the 160th SOR used a secret version of the UH-60 modified with low observable technology which enabled it to evade Pakistani radar. Analysis of the tail section, the only remaining part of the aircraft which crashed during the operation, revealed extra blades on the tail rotor and other noise reduction measures, making the craft much quieter than conventional UH-60s. The aircraft appeared to include features like special high-tech materials, harsh angles, and flat surfaces found only in stealth jets. Low observable versions of the Black Hawk have been studied as far back as the mid-1970s. In September 2012, Sikorsky was awarded a combat-tempered platform demonstration contract to further improve the Black Hawk's durability and survivability. The company is to develop new technologies such as a zero-vibration system, adaptive flight control laws, advanced fire management, a more durable main rotor, full-spectrum crashworthiness, and damage-tolerant airframe. Then they are to transition them to the helicopter. Improvements to the Black Hawk are to continue until the future vertical lift program is ready to replace it. In December 2014, the 101st Airborne Division began testing of new resupply equipment called the Enhanced Speed Bag System. Soldiers pinned down in the field requiring quick resupply have depended on speed bags filled with items airdropped from a UH-60. However, all systems were ad hoc with bags not made to keep things secure from impacts, so up to half of the airdropped items would be damaged upon hitting the ground. Started in 2011, the ESBS sought to standardize the airdrop resupply method and keep up to 90% of supplies intact. The system includes a hands-free reusable linear brake and expendable speed line and multi-purpose cargo bag. When the bag is deployed, the brake applies friction to the rope, slowing it down enough to keep the bag oriented down on the padded base. A honeycomb and foam kit inside to dissipate energy. The ESBS not only better protects helicopter drop supplies, it allows the Black Hawk to fly higher above the ground 100 feet up from 10 feet. while traveling 20 knots, limiting exposure to ground fire. Each bag can weigh 125 to 200 pounds and up to 6 can be deployed at once, dropping 40 to 50 feet per second. Since supplies can be delivered more accurately and the system can be automatically released on its own, the ESBS can enable autonomous resupply from unmanned helicopters. Design: the UH-60 features 4-blade main and tail rotors, and is powered by 2 General Electric T700 turboshaft engines. The main rotor is fully articulated and has elastomeric bearings in the rotor head. The tail rotor is canted and features a rigid crossbeam. The helicopter has a long, low-profile shape to meet the Army's requirement for transporting aboard a C-130 Hercules. With some disassembly, it can carry 11 troops with equipment, lift 2,600 pounds of cargo internally and 9,000 pounds of cargo externally by sling. The Black Hawk helicopter series can perform a wide array of missions, including the tactical transport of troops, electronic warfare, and aeromedical evacuation. A VIP version known as the VH-60N is used to transport important government officials with the helicopter's call sign of Marine One when transporting the President of the United States. In air assault operations, it can move a squad of 11 combat troops or reposition a 105mm M119 howitzer with 30 rounds ammunition, and a 4-man crew in a single lift. The Black Hawk is equipped with advanced avionics and electronics for increased survivability and capability, such as the Global Positioning System. The UH-60 can be equipped with stub wings at the top of fuselage to carry fuel tanks of various armaments. The initial stub wing system is called the External Stores Support System. It has 2 pylons on each wing to carry 2 230 US gal and 2 450 US gal tanks in total. The 4 fuel tanks and associated lines and valves form the external extended range fuel system. U.S. Army UH-60s have had their ESSS modified into the crashworthy external fuel system configuration, replacing the older tanks with up to 4 total 200 US gal crashworthy tanks along with self-sealing fuel lines. The ESSS can also carry 10,000 pounds of armament such as rockets, missiles and gun pods. The ESSS entered service in 1986. However, it was found that the 4 fuel tanks obstruct the field of fire for the door guns. Thus, the external tank system, carrying 2 fuel tanks on the stub wings, was developed. The unit cost of the H-60 models varies due to differences in specifications, equipment and quantities. For example, the unit cost of the Army's UH-60 Black Hawk is $5.9 million, while the unit cost of the Air Force HH-60G Pave Hawk is $10.2 million. Operational history. United States. The UH-60 entered service with the U.S. Army's 101st Combat Aviation Brigade of the 101st Airborne Division in June 1979. The U.S. military first used the UH-60 in combat during the invasion of Grenada in 1983, and again in the invasion of Panama in 1989. During the Gulf War in 1991, the UH-60 participated in the largest air assault mission in U.S. Army history with over 300 helicopters involved. 2 UH-60s were shot down, both on the 27th of February 1991, while performing combat search and rescue of other downed aircrews. An F-16C pilot and the crew of a MEDEVAC UH-1H that were shot down earlier that day. In 1993, Black Hawks featured prominently in the assault on Mogadishu in Somalia. Black Hawks also saw action in the Balkans and Haiti in the 1990s. U.S. Army UH-60s and other helicopters conducted many air assault and other support missions during the 2003 invasion of Iraq. The UH-60 has continued to serve in operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. Customs and Border Protection Office of Air and Marine uses the UH-60 in its operations specifically along the southwest border. The Black Hawk has been used by OAM to interdict illegal entry into the U.S. Additionally, OAM regularly uses the UH-60 in search and rescue operations. Highly modified H-60s were employed during the U.S. Special Operations mission that resulted in the death of Osama bin Laden on 1 May 2011. One such MH-60 helicopter crash-landed during the operation, and was destroyed by the team before it departed in the other MH-60 and a backup MH-47 Chinook with bin Laden's remains. 2 MH-47s were used for the mission to refuel the 2 MH-60s and as backups. News media reported that the Pakistani government granted the Chinese military access to the wreckage of the crashed stealth UH-60 variant in Abbottabad, Pakistan, and China denied the reports, and the U.S. government has not confirmed Chinese access. People's Republic of China. In December 1983, examples of the aerospatial AS-332 Super Puma, Bell 214SD Super Transport and Sikorsky S-70A5 were airlifted to Lhasa for testing. These demonstrations included takeoffs and landings at altitudes to 17,000 feet and en route operations to 24,000 feet. At the end of this testing, the People's Liberation Army Air Force purchased 24 S-70C2s, equipped with more powerful GET-700-701A engines for improved high-altitude performance. While designated as civil variants of the S-70 for export purposes, they are operated by the People's Liberation Army Air Force. Taiwan operated S-70C-1/1A after the Republic of China Air Force received 10 S-70C-1A and 4 S-70C-1 Blue Hawk helicopters in June 1986. For search and rescue, 4 further S-70C-6s were received in April 1998. The ROC Navy received the first of 10 S-70C-1s in July 1990. 11 S-70C-2s were received beginning April 2000. In January 2010, the U.S. announced a foreign military sale of 60 UH-60 megaseconds to Taiwan for the ROC Army. Colombia first received UH-60s from the United States in 1987. The Colombian National Police, Colombian Air Force, and Colombian Army use UH-60s to transport troops and supplies to places which are difficult to access by land for counterinsurgency operations against drug and guerrilla organizations, for search and rescue, and for medical evacuation. Colombia also operates a militarized gunship version of the UH-60 with stub wings, locally known as Arpia. The Colombian Army became the first worldwide operator of the S-70I with terrain awareness and warning capability after taking delivery of the first 2 units on 13 August 2013. Mexico. The Mexican Air Force ordered its first 2 UH-60Ls in 1991 to transport Special Forces units, and another 4 in 1994. In July and August 2009, the federal police used UH-60s in attacks on drug traffickers. In August 2011, the Mexican Navy received 3 upgraded and navalized UH-60M. On the 21st of April 2014, the U.S. State Department approved the sale of 18 UH-60 megaseconds to Mexico pending approval from Congress. In September 2014, Sikorsky received a $203.6 million firm fixed-price contract modification for the 18 UH-60 designated for the Mexican Air Force. Israel. The Israeli Air Force received 10 surplus UH-60A Black Hawks from the United States in August 1994. Named JENKINS by the IAF, the UH-60A began replacing Bell 212 utility helicopters. The IAF first used the UH-60s in combat during 1996 in southern Lebanon in Operation Grape Sivroth against the Hezbollah. Brazil received 4 UH-60L helicopters in 1997 for the Brazilian Army peacekeeping forces. It received 6 UH-60Ls configured for Special Forces and Search and Rescue use in 2008. It ordered 10 more UH-60Ls in 2009. Deliveries began in March 2011. Turkey has operated the UH-60 during NATO deployments to Afghanistan and the Balkans. The UH-60 has also been used in counter-terror internal security operations. The Black Hawk competed against the Augusta Westland AW-149 in the Turkish general use helicopter tender, to order up to 115 helicopters and produce many of them indigenously, with Turkish Aerospace Industries responsible for final integration and assembly. On the 21st of April 2011, Turkey announced the selection of Sikorsky's T-70. Sweden requested 15 UH-60M helicopters by foreign military sale in September 2010. The UH-60 megaseconds were ordered in May 2011, and deliveries began in January 2012. In March 2013, Swedish ISAF forces began using Black Hawks in Afghanistan for MEDEVAC purposes. The UH-60 megaseconds are to be fully operational by 2017. Australia has 34 Black Hawks as of 2015. It has deployed the aircraft to East Timor and the Solomon Islands. It did not deploy Black Hawks to Afghanistan because Angus Houston, the then defense chief, advised the government that the aircraft lacked armor and self-defense systems. Other and potential uses. The United Arab Emirates requested 14 UH-60M helicopters and associated equipment in September 2008 through foreign military sale. It had received 20 UH-60Ls by November 2010. Bahrain ordered 9 UH-60 megaseconds in 2007. In November 2009, the Iraqi government requested the sale of up to 27 light and medium utility helicopters, including 12 UH-60 MIs. In December 2011, the Royal Brunei Air Force ordered 12 S-70I helicopters, which are similar to the UH-60M. 4 aircraft had been received by December 2013. On 12 June 2012, the U.S. Defense Security Cooperation Agency notified Congress that Qatar requested the purchase of 12 UH-60 megaseconds engines and associated equipment. On 25 February 2013, the Indonesian Army announced its interest in buying UH-60 Black Hawks as part of its effort to modernize its weaponry. The Army wants them for combating terrorism, transnational international crime and insurgency to secure the archipelago. On 27 May 2014, Croatian Defense Minister Ante Kotromanovic announced the beginning of negotiations with the U.S. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel for the purchase of 15 used Black Hawks. The deal is expected to be completed by 2017. Tunisia requested 12 armed UH-60M helicopters in July 2014 through foreign military sale. In August 2014, the U.S. ambassador stated that the U.S. will soon make available the UH-60 megaseconds to Tunisia. On 23 January 2015, the Malaysian Defense Minister Hishamuddin Hussein confirmed that Royal Malaysian Air Force is getting S-70A Black Hawks from the Brunei government. The helicopters, which believed before, are expected to be transferred to Malaysia by September and will be armed with M1340 miniguns. The 4 Black Hawks were delivered to Royal Brunei Air Force in 1999 and currently operated by the 4th Squadron. In April 2015, Slovakia's government approved the procurement of 9 UH-60 megaseconds along with training and support.